The Book of Enoch. The story of Enoch is a story in which the hidden is greater than the visible. A single and mysterious verse in the book of Genesis centered on the angel Enoch. The figure of Enoch has aroused great curiosity throughout thousands of years of tradition. Some saw him as an innocent boy plucked from the blood of his days and turned into the archangel Metatron, while others saw him as absolute evil, or at least potentially evil, becoming a sort of prototype of a satanic demon. The story of Enoch is written in the book of Genesis 5 verses 22 to 24, and all the pieces of information we have about him are given in only 4 verses. Who is that mysterious angel who captivated so many in the Jewish world and beyond? The mysterious description in the book of Genesis and the story of Enoch's transformation into an angel continue to stir up the Jewish world. It has been hypothesized that Enoch is the angel of God who guided the Israelites on their journey through the desert. His name was used for oaths and spells, and many Kabbalists even recommended not pronouncing it out loud. This is how Enoch rose from an obscure verse in the book of Genesis to become such an important figure in human history. In Genesis 5 verse 24, Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. Enoch is the one who began the creation of the abstract tradition related to thought, reading, writing, and calculation, which he learned from the angels. When he was taken to God and stayed in heaven for many years, he returned to teach his son Methuselah, the father of the great priesthood prior to the flood, reading, writing, and calculation, as recounted in detail in the book of Enoch. Enoch was the world's first teacher and educator, chosen as an angel to punish the cities. He witnessed the wonders of creation, the secrets of the universe, rewards and punishments for the righteous and the wicked, the Messiah, and the prophet of history until the end of time. Enoch is the son of Cain, who built the first city in his name. From the time he became a murderer, Cain was a resident of a house and the founder of a material culture. Let us go back to the beginning of book writing. While the Bible was written in the writing halls of the Second Temple, other books, such as the Book of Enoch, were written throughout Israel and did not make it into the Bible. Books written outside the walls of the temple were referred to as external books. These compositions were written in various places in Israel, so there was no unified control over their order. One of these books is the Book of Enoch. When we take an overall look at the external books and compare it to the Bible, we can gain an understanding of several things. These are books written by Jews who believed in God. There is a huge gap between the God in the Bible and the God in the external books. In practice, this results in 2 different ways of believing in the same God. Furthermore, they depict a society that told folk tales, believed in demons and spirits, and respected the works of sorcerers. The Book of Enoch, one of the most influential works on Jewish and Christian culture, is an important example. The Book of Enoch is a collection of 4 essays, the earliest of which was written around 270 BC, according to researchers. It is a collection of books written at different times by different authors, all dedicated to the character of Enoch. And Enoch lived 65 years, and he gave birth to Methuselah. Then, with a small leap, Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. This short quote sums up the character of Enoch in the book of Genesis. Imagination was ignited as to where God took him. And the answer is that God sent angels to take him on a journey to the unseen world beyond the dome of heaven. When we look at the books of Enoch, we discover a new phenomenon that is not present in the Bible. A longing to know what is happening on the upper floor, hidden from human eyes. The authors of the Book of Enoch discussed the matter of the heavenly world and the fate of the souls of the dead. They said that angels took Enoch to heaven. Enoch ascended to heaven with one goal, to reveal to the inhabitants of earth what was hidden up there. He discovered that the heavens were divided into 7, each with its own heavenly mind devoted to a different matter. For example, Enoch, who ascended, saw 200 angels overseeing the regime of the stars in the sky and how they manipulated the entire system. Consequently, the stars move according to the arrangement of work set for them by the 200 angels residing there. He saw that spirits had a home from which they set out to wander. In addition, he saw the high places of the sky where the sun and moon emerged to illuminate the earth. In the second heaven, Enoch saw a terrifying prison in which men and angels who did not keep the commandments of God were chained. The third heaven is the most interesting of all, for there is heaven. In heaven, 2 springs emerge, one of them flows with honey and milk, while the other flows with oil and wine. Of course, the garden is full of wonderful trees that bear ripe blossoms and emit a wonderful perfume all year round. Furthermore, 2 important trees grow in the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, from which the first couple ate, and the tree of life, whose fruit will be eaten by the righteous dead, allowing them to rise from their ashes and return to life. A quote describing heaven and paradise, where rest has been prepared for the righteous. Angels of fervor sing unceasingly eternal songs rejoicing in the coming of the righteous. And they come with joy and weight, for good pleasure, and riches without measure, and to rest and age in the midst of her light and eternal life. Hanabi 13 Ladlaw. In the third heaven, there is also a horrible and terrible place known as hell, intended for the souls of the wicked who sinned while alive. Whereas heaven has a river of milk and honey, hell has a river of fire. It has prisons where angels carry heavy weapons and torture sinners. And there in heaven, he saw Enoch, quote, "The bearers of the keys and the guardians of Hades stand like great serpents, their faces like unlit candles and their eyes burning with fire. Their teeth are visible up to their breasts." Hanav 13:3. He saw mountains of gold, copper, and iron in the sky. During his journey through the heavens, Enoch saw huge pillars with their heads in the sky and their feet firmly planted in the abyss, which supported the heavens. Finally, when Enoch reached the seventh heaven, God was waiting for him, sitting on a great throne. "I will come to that house, and it will be as hot as fire and as cold as ice. Fear will seize me, and trembling will hold me. Here is a second house, built with flames of fire." He was exalted in all the splendor and dignity and size. And I looked, and I saw there a high chair, its appearance like crystal. And from under the chair rivers of fiery fire came out. And the great honor sat on it. And his coat was protected from sunlight and whitened from all snow. And my Lord called me with his mouth and said, "Enoch is approaching." John 1:10. Another quote, God is described in these words. "The Lord is like a fiery furnace and his words a flame that comes out. And I saw the face of the Lord as iron whitened by fire, which when it rises, it sends sparks and it burns. And his eyes shine like the rays of the sun, and terrify the eyes of a man. And I saw the measure of the stature of the Lord, without measure and without image and without end." Han 2:13, 5-9. The biggest difference between the Bible and the Book of Enoch, one of the most detailed external books left to us, is its intense preoccupation with the sights of the heavenly world. According to Enoch, life in heaven is not a copy of the limited and wretched world seen by people living on earth. Heaven is a fantastic and vast world teeming with life that does not exist on earth. God and the angels are in it, the stars are a kind of living creatures, the souls of the righteous and wicked dead live there. And the sky is full of sounds, smells, colors and sights that are not visible to people living on earth. The literature of Enoch is the earliest source we have for some of the fundamental concepts we grew up with, which are mistakenly attributed to the Bible. In Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the concept is rooted that heaven is in the sky, and the souls of the righteous dead go there. The souls of the dead who were wicked in their lives go to the colony of punishments in hell. Almost every person will say that these things are written in the Bible, which is not true. According to chapter 23 of the book of Genesis, paradise was a place on the surface of the earth, and the first man was called Adam, after the material from which he was created. We also said that the concept of retribution, which is found throughout the Bible, states that the righteous and the wicked receive their reward or punishment during their lifetime. As we remember, Adam and Eve, who ate the fruit of the forbidden tree, were expelled from Eden while they were alive and did not return to it after their death. The Book of Enoch is the earliest source to state that heaven and hell are in the sky, providing unequivocal evidence that, by the 3rd century BC, people in Israel believed in the remnants of the soul. That is, after the death of the body, the soul remains alive and maintains its identity, staying connected to its former life and actions while alive. After death, a righteous person will gain access to heavenly paradise and be reunited with their soul in the last days. On the other hand, if the soul belonged to evil, it will not have a resurrection and will be subjected to the fire of hell until the end of time, a concept derived from the Book of Enoch and adopted as a cornerstone of both the Jewish and Christian faiths. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. See you next time.